Egypt were winning 2-0 against the reigning world champions in the 79th minute of a World Cup round of 16. 2 goals ahead of Argentina, 2 goals ahead of Lionel Messi, 2 goals ahead of the team that had just lifted that trophy in Qatar 4 years ago and that the entire football world had installed as one of the tournament favorites from the moment the draw was made. And then, everything stopped. Not because Argentina scored, not because Messi did something magical, but because a VAR review disallowed Egypt's second goal, a goal that had sent the Egyptian supporters inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta into complete delirium. A goal that would have made the scoreline 2-0 and put Egypt on the verge of the greatest result in the history of their football program. The VAR found a foul in the build-up to the goal. It was a foul on Argentina's Lisandro Martinez, a contact in midfield that the VAR team determined had been significant enough to disallow what came after it. The goal was cancelled, the scoreline went back to 1-0, and from that point forward, everything changed. Argentina scored in the 79th minute, then again, then a third time, 3-2. A team that had been 2 goals from elimination somehow found a way through in the time that remained. Now, here is where the story becomes something that goes far beyond the 90 minutes of football. The Egyptian manager, Hassam Hassan, did something after the match that has never been seen from a World Cup head coach at this tournament. He sent a direct message on Instagram to the referee, Francois Letexier, a public message, visible to everyone. 3 words: "The world is watching." That message, those 3 words, published publicly by the manager of a national team to the official who had just overseen their elimination from the World Cup, became one of the most widely shared images in the history of World Cup social media within hours of the final whistle. Because it wasn't a statement to the press, it wasn't a response to a journalist's question in a post-match conference, it was a personal, direct, visible act of communication from one individual to another, and it said everything Hassan felt without needing another word.
And then, in front of the cameras, the words kept coming. Hassan said the result was not something he was convinced by, and that he was not convinced by the way things unfolded in the match. He said there seemed to have been pressure on the Argentinian side on the referee that produced this outcome. He said life is unfair and the world is unfair, but asked why there cannot be fairness in sport. He said Egypt deserved to qualify and were the better team against Argentina. He said it was all about marketing and money, and that FIFA wants Messi, the world champion, to stay in the tournament, and that in football, a lot happens off the pitch because of vested interests. Marketing and money. Those were the exact words from the head coach of a national team in an official post-match press conference at the biggest football tournament in the world. His player, Mustafa Zico, was not behind him in the strength of his language. Zico said the match was rigged. He said it was clear that the tournament had been fixed. He said the referee was biased from the very start of the match and kept trying to stop Egypt and shut them down on the pitch. He said Egypt were winning 2-0, and after the disallowed goal, everything went against them in ways he couldn't explain. He said he didn't know why the second goal was disallowed and didn't see any reason for it. He said it was a rigged game. He said it wasn't Egypt's fault, and he congratulated Argentina on the World Cup, saying they didn't need anything else. Those quotes spread across every football media platform in the world within hours. Not because accusations of this kind are new to football, they happen after difficult results at major tournaments with a regularity that the sport has long learned to absorb, but because the specific combination of circumstances surrounding this match made them impossible to dismiss with a shrug and a mention of sour grapes. Here is why this is different from a typical post-match complaint. Think about the timeline of events. The Balogun R reversal happened less than 2 weeks ago. FIFA overturned a red card that had been confirmed by VAR in real time, allowing the American host nation striker to play in the round of 16. Belgium's coach said it had never happened before in World Cup history. Oliver Kahn sarcastically asked FIFA to replay the 2002 final because Michael Ballack's yellow card from that year hadn't been cancelled. FIFA's president confirmed he had received a call from a prominent political figure before the decision was communicated, and then added that FIFA's judicial bodies are independent. That was the context that already existed when Egypt and Argentina stepped onto the pitch at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And then, in this match, Egypt had a goal disallowed by VAR that brought the scoreline from 2-0 to 1-0. Argentina then scored 3 times in 11 minutes to win 3-2, and Egypt's entire management and playing staff accused the referee of bias, demanded an investigation, and the federation formally filed a complaint with FIFA, demanding the referee and his entire team be excluded from the rest of the competition.
The Egyptian Football Association's formal complaint demanded an investigation into the French referee, saying he committed serious refereeing errors and applied double standards that caused the Egyptian national team to lose and exit the tournament. It demanded an investigation into the entire refereeing team, including the VAR officials, because of what it described as blatant errors and an insistence on not reviewing footage that the federation believed would have changed decisions. And it used the phrase crime of discrimination against the Egyptian national team. Crime of discrimination. That is not the language of a federation expressing frustration about a difficult refereeing call. That is the language of an institution that believes something systemic and deliberate occurred inside a football match that it was a participant in. Now, the football answer to all of this needs to be stated clearly because fairness demands it. Referees at this level do not fix matches. The VAR review process, whatever frustrations it generates, is designed to apply rules consistently and is not a mechanism that can be easily manipulated in favor of one team without leaving visible evidence across multiple decisions throughout a match. The foul on Lisandro Martinez that disallowed Egypt's goal was reviewed, confirmed, and applied in accordance with the regulations. Whether it was the correct decision at the margin that these decisions always operate within is a legitimate debate. Whether it was the product of bias or external pressure is an entirely different claim that requires an entirely different standard of evidence. And yet, the discomfort around this match does not disappear by saying that, because the context in which it happened is real. The Balogun precedent is real. The pattern of non-European nations filing formal complaints at this tournament is real. Iran's complaint about travel restrictions is real. Egypt's earlier kit controversy, being forced to remove their 7 AFCON stars before the group stage, is real. Each one of those incidents, taken individually, has a FIFA response that is technically defensible. Taken together, across the span of a single tournament, they paint a picture that is becoming increasingly difficult for the governing body to manage as a communication challenge. The Egyptian manager sent the referee a message on Instagram that said, "The world is watching." And the world genuinely is watching. Not just the match, not just the disallowed goal, not just the 3 goals in 11 minutes. The world is watching whether FIFA investigates this complaint with the same urgency it has applied to decisions that benefited the host nation. The world is watching whether the referee who officiated this match continues to receive assignments in the quarterfinals. The world is watching whether the pattern of off-pitch controversies at this tournament produces any accountability before the final whistle is blown in New Jersey on July 19. For Argentina, the result means a quarter-final place and the continuation of a World Cup defense that has been more difficult than anyone expected. Messi is still in the tournament, at 38 years old, at what is almost certainly his final World Cup. The world football world wanted this story to continue, and it is continuing. Whether that is the product of quality, resilience, fortune, or something else entirely, depends entirely on who you ask and which country they are from. For Egypt, the World Cup is over. Their greatest tournament appearance since 1990 ended in circumstances that will be debated in Cairo for years. They arrived with Mo Salah and a generation of professional players from European leagues. They competed against the world champions for 79 minutes and led by 2 goals. They had a goal disallowed. They lost 3-2, and their manager sent 3 words to a referee on Instagram that the entire world football world read before the stadium lights had even been turned off. What do you think? Was the disallowed goal the decisive moment that changed this match, or did Argentina's quality ultimately make the result inevitable regardless of the VAR decision? Do you believe Egypt's formal complaint to FIFA will produce any meaningful outcome, or will it be absorbed into a process that has already shown it can reverse major decisions when the circumstances call for it? And given everything that has happened at this World Cup off the pitch, from the Balogun reversal to Paraguay's complaint to Egypt's accusations, do you think FIFA will emerge from this tournament with its credibility intact? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe for complete quarterfinal coverage, and share this with any football fan who thinks the biggest story at the 2026 World Cup is still being decided on the pitch.